Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Ron. Thanks, everybody, for having us. Really appreciate the time. A lot of good stuff to talk about, I believe. So we'll spend a couple of minutes. I want to spend a couple of minutes just kind of staying high level, talking a little bit about why AutoVitals. One of the things that's obviously really important about that, and we get a lot of questions about, is integrations with various point of sales or shop management systems, as they're now more popularly called. Talk a little bit about our DVI in particular, and then I know folks always have questions around what's new. So let me stay on this slide and talk for a second about why AutoVitals. So the way I like to explain our offering is we are a supercharger, or we are the world's greatest complement to your point of sale. Okay, so and many of you maybe heard me say this before. Point of sale or shop management system, by far one of the most important pieces of technology that you can have in your shop or your center, right? You really, I mean, at this day and age, it's pretty hard to run a shop without a point of sale, right? You've got to be able to order your parts, you got to be able to inventory, you've got to be able to tie in a labor guys, you got to get your people paid, you got to tie into accounting. There's tons and tons. You got to write the invoices. You got to get paid. I mean, all the what I would call the many of the most important essentials and kind of basics of running a shop all happen within your point of sale, right? So I don't think I'm telling anybody anything they don't know when I say point of sale is really critical. Okay, what a point of sale will not do, for the most part, and I've been, obviously I'm biased, but I've been told this by hundreds and even thousands of clients and coaches and whatnot. What they generally will not do very well is they want to help you sell a lot more jobs or a lot more work to your customers. That won't happen. They may offer something like DVI, or they may do some other things, but it's not their business. They don't do it particularly well. They kind of check that box and say it's there, but it's not their specialty, right? So they're probably not gonna help you sell a lot more work through inspections and whatnot. They're not gonna make your shop a ton more efficient so that you can get 10, 15, 20% more jobs and more work done with the same number of techs and with the same number of bays. Right. That's again, it's not a point of sale's main priority and main job. And then the last thing they won't do is they're not going to help bring a ton of new customers into your shop, and they're not going to directly bring a lot of your current customers and your best customers back into your shop. Right. So that's the reason why I've spent a lot of the last 4 years communicating to folks and try to convince folks of the fact that yes, point of sale or shop management system totally required to run a shop. But if you want to grow your revenue, if you want to open more shops, if you want to drive up profitability, if you want to retain your techs because they get paid more money, or because the shop's less chaotic, then you need an AutoVitals, right? We call it a shop success solution, but really just think about it as an AutoVitals that offers digital vehicles and vehicle inspections, workflow management, and then all the digital marketing tools and CRM and retention that you need to kind of bring new customers in or bring your current customers in, right? So I think it's really important to understand what the point of sale or shop management system does really well and what AutoVitals does really well. We could, and again, I probably made this comment to many of you on the phone, I could spend 4 months and integrate parts tech and a bunch of other parts ordering and inventory providers. And I could say, yep, we've got that element of point of sale. And if I was being honest, which I would be, I wouldn't recommend you use it. And that's really sort of how whether it's the DVI or the communication tools, they're just, do I think someday it'll all be one system? Absolutely. Do I think that's going to be in the next 2 years or 3 years? No way. There's a lot of promises. There's a lot of whatnot. People ask us all the time, are you building a point of sale? No. People ask point of sales, are you going to build everything that AutoVitals has? The answer generally is no. So let me hop into the next slide. So what is the most important thing, or what's one of the most important things? Your AutoVitals has to work really well with the point of sale you're using or the point of sale you're going to be using. And so here's just a list of 6 of the more popular point of sales that we work with. We've got great two-way integrations with a ton of point of sales. And you can see, we've got obviously the largest, and there's, 15 plus other ones that we don't have listed here, that we don't know that a lot of shops either on the call or that you work with directly use, but we have 20, 25 integrations that are really good. But, you see the folks who have been around for a while, the Napatrax, the RR Riders, the Mitchell Ones, some of the folks who are a bit newer, obviously Protractor to some degree, and then Shopware and Techmetric. And we've got integrations with, again, most of the folks that you're working with or that your shops are working with. So let me tell you what integration means, right? Two-way integration means we're pulling information out of the shop management system so that you can work on it in AutoVitals. So that's all the vehicle information. It's a bunch of the technician assignment information, as well as other things. We also push information back into the shop management system, right? So that'll be the inspection results, like the URL for the inspection results will go in there. It'll be all the canned jobs that are selected. It'll be job images, videos, and notes. It is important to know that what is shared back and forth varies based on the point of sale and based on the integration that we have with them. But all those are two-way, and for the most part, all the important information that you need going back and forth is going to be there. The way to think about it is that the service advisor is largely going to work in the point of sale for building and sending the estimate, and for the parts and for the inventory piece, right? And they're going to work in AutoVitals for dispatching, for communicating with the technician, rather than having all that information going back, running back and forth from the front of the shop to the back of the shop. We erase all of that with our DVI and with our workflow solution, right? And for the most part, the technician is going to be working on the tablet, right, using the AutoVitals application. So it ends up being, for the technician, it's incredibly seamless because they're largely working out of AutoVitals. And then for the service advisor, there's one kind of handoff point there on the way in and then one on the way out. But again, the integration kind of solves quite a bit of that. So why I get this question all the time, especially in the last year, right? And I kind of touched on this earlier. So why wouldn't I just use the DVI that's already in my point of sale, okay, or in my shop management system? And the high level answer, which I gave earlier, is because it's generally a very basic tool that has relatively limited functionality, and most importantly has much more limited results, right? So we did some comparisons. We looked at one of the leading new hosted native point of sales that you've seen listed, and I'm sure you get tons of calls from and have lots of partnerships. And we know at the higher end, their average ARO for their shops is about 586. Okay, when we make a comparison against that, we know that our average ARO is 679. Now, that's obviously a high number, right? A lot of shops, I get this a lot also, which is, hey, our ARO is, we're higher volume, we're $300, we're $400, we're, whatever the numbers are. So first off, a lot of the folks who have that average of $600-700, they started at the 400 or 500. We've got endless case studies that sort of talk about how digital vehicle inspection, as well as shifting the type of work that they're selling, shifting the type of work that they're really highlighting on the inspection, the bigger jobs, the ability to sell those through, has gotten them from 400 to 600 or 500 up to 700. Okay, how do they do it? Educational notes. So canned notes that your service advisor and your technician are able to pull into the inspection, right? Based on making a recommendation, they show up automatically, right? So here's what we found. So you get to, we can give you suggestions as to what goes on there, or what goes in there, but as soon as they get you can update, or the shop can update, what they're going to say in terms of standardized canned notes, and then boom, you insert them. They're well written, they're placed nicely, they go along with the images or the videos that you're including. So advanced image editor. I'll tell you a little bit more about that after this. But the advanced image editor, it sounds silly, but the ability to be able to go in and professionally but super simply be able to go in and put an arrow and make a mark and type some things on there. It's what garners trust, and it's what pulls the customer in and makes them feel like this is the kind of shop that I want to give more work to, right? Hey, you know what? I see it. I feel it. I understand this is a problem. I don't have any more questions about it, right? I really appreciate that you're going the length to highlight to me, right? It's a lot different than someone making a big squiggly line on a picture, and maybe a smiley face that's all squiggly. Like, if it looks professional, they're going to trust you. You're going to end up getting more work, okay? And then narrated educational videos, which is the last piece there, which is we include a bunch of videos in the educational videos for the customer. Like, why is brake fluid moisture content above 3%? Like, why is that important, right? I want to read about that, or I want to watch a video on that. Importantly, also, you want to make sure that those videos don't disappear. So I hear this story all the time. Again, the same provider as I mentioned earlier, they have educational videos, but you know what happens? After the first 15 days or 30 days, those videos disappear. They turn into a broken link. So now a month or two later, or 6 months, when the service reminder goes out and you're recommending and you're saying, hey, don't forget, this was your inspection last time. Here's the work that we want you to do again, that we didn't do last time, and we're recommending now that we've gotten to a certain mileage, or it's a certain date. All of a sudden, there's a broken link, there's a broken video. They're not going to buy that, right? So that's the level of kind of perfection and the level of detail that makes the difference between $400 or $500 ARO or $600 or $700 ARO. So let me just take a second. Again. So not all our pictures are created equal. So I think we're kind of nice. We're pretty kind. We don't put like a us and them up here, but maybe we should. If you look at the ability to very simply go in and add arrows, very simply be able to go in and add text that's going to stand out, right? If you want to, you can add in like, here's what it should look like, right? You can point some arrows and whatnot. I can tell you that ARO on inspections that get less than a 10% edit rate, right? So it's great that you put a picture in there. That's required. You got to have at least 9 pictures, 10 pictures, okay? Spread across most of the jobs. If editing the picture, though, so under 10% edit rate, so 90% of the pictures are not edited, they come in at a $561 ARO. 70% or higher edit rate, they come in at a $644 ARO. That's a huge difference. Not only is it a lot of revenue, it's a ton of profit, right? Part of it is because you get the ability to really emphasize the work that you want to be doing, right? This isn't just like, hey, it's better to put pictures on there. That's not the way this works, right? The important part is if you put that extra 10% of work in, you're going to get an extra 20 or 30% of ARO. It's not a lot of extra work, but it's that last mile that makes the most difference. And when I talk about, the difference, so the shop management guys, their systems, they're great. They're great. They put all this thinking into ordering parts or labor guides or all that kind of stuff, but it's different, right? They're years away from being able to put the kind of thinking like this into a DVI or a workflow or CRM or whatever the case is. Years, right? There's still a massive list of priorities that the point of sales and the SMS systems have to build out. So they've got, especially the newer hosted guys, in order to be able to really compete with the Mitchells and the RO Riders. I mean, you guys know this better than I do, right? If you look at the hosted native, the Techmetrics, the Shopwares, folks like that, if you look at they're really slick systems, they're easy to use, they look nice, which is really great. They're not nearly as feature rich as the Aura Riders of the world, right? Or the Mitchell Ones or the Napa Tracks, right? So they're spending the vast majority of their time catching up on that side. And the DVI and the workflow and CRM, like they're box checkers, right? They also, lastly, before I turn over to Lauren, probably the most important thing is what they're not giving you is they're not giving you as the shop owner or the shop manager, the ability to very easily see who on my team is adding a bunch of pictures and who's not. Who on my team is editing the pictures and who's not, right? In what cases are we recommending at least 12 jobs? Or in what cases are we recommending, 6 or less, right? I could give you 8 or 10 stats that, again, over the years, we've perfected and we really understand, like, it's not a, hey, you should do this because you use the tools more and it makes you more proficient in technology. It is a proven fact. If you do all those things, your ARO will go up, right? Your profitability will go up. Nobody disputes that. Nobody in the industry 4 or 5 years ago, everybody was wondering, like, should I use these tools? Do I need them? Anybody who uses them and really adopts them, nobody disputes it. Who's really done it, right? All the disputes are over. Well, I don't know if my technicians want to do the work, or it's kind of complicated, or well, this thing is good enough. I can just tell you, I've got thousands of shops who will argue with you all day long. If you really care about maximizing the success of your shop, then you'll go that extra 5 or 10% in order to really get 50% or double the benefits, really increase your profit, open more shops and whatnot.
Awesome.
Lauren,
yep.
over to you.
Awesome. Thanks, John. So I'm going to cover the section of what's new at AutoVitals. So first thing, as John alluded to, we have tons of reporting capabilities inside of AutoVitals. I know many of the coaches on the call are familiar with what we call the business control panel. Think of that as our internal portal like you guys have for ATI. Really exciting. Shops have been requesting this, and we have added the ability to see ARO with inspection sent and then ARO without inspection sent. So this is a great tool, especially for shops that are struggling to adopt digital vehicle inspections, as you can show them, the proof is in the pudding, that when they're sending those inspections, what their average repair order looks like versus when they are not sending those inspections. Now, these are all ATI clients I pulled last summer just to keep us in line with the season that is approaching. And again, this is an awesome opportunity to help coach them of, hey, when you are sending the inspection to the customer, you're seeing about a $700 repair order. When you don't send the inspection that you're doing to the customer, your repair orders are dropping to the 400 range. And as you can see here, you're only sending about 50% of the inspections to the customer. So then as a coach, as well as on our AutoVitals team, that raises a red flag for us to go in and say, hey, what would be the impact if we were able to get this inspection sent rate up to above 80%? What would be the impact on your business and on your revenue? And what's holding you back from getting to that 80%? And then, of course, you can see that for some other example shops here. But really, really great coaching opportunity here. Again, too, occasionally, if you see a shop that has a lower ARO with the inspection sent versus without, that's a great opportunity to go back and look at their drop-off script and see how they're setting expectations at the counter, or take a look and audit their inspections to make sure they're doing the things that John mentioned, like taking enough pictures, adding enough recommendations, editing those pictures, because again, we know, like Eric said, edited pictures are worth 1,000 words and $1,000. Cool. Additionally, we have made some updates to our workflow management system. This I am super, super excited about. Again, this is based on feedback from our clients, is we've simplified our repair order tiles. So I'm sure you guys have seen other workflow management systems, or you've seen AutoVitals before. Each one of these tiles represents an RO in the shop. This is the RO number. And then, of course, you have customer information. The really cool thing about the update is shops can choose what features they want to see and what features they don't. So this repair order tile on the right has all of the features enabled possible. And then this has all of the one on the left has all of the optional features disabled. So this is great because as a shop's getting workflow management rolled out, you might not want to see every single one of these things flashing at you. We totally get it. It can get overwhelming. So we recommend you can disable features and then add them back on one by one as you begin to look at that in your shop. Additionally, you can expand and then contract the repair order tile. So you do have the option to keep everything enabled, but just to hide it if you want to get a 30,000 foot view of your shop at once. So I'm going to go in and just explain what all of these indicators are on the repair order tile, because I really think it's quite amazing for shops, and the feedback we get from shops is that at a glance, they're able to see everything they need to know about every single vehicle in their shop from one screen. It takes a lot of the guessing out of the game and managing your car count, and this is super critical as we go into summer and shops are getting busier than ever. So a few of the things that you can view, we're not going to go through every single one, is right here, this chat message is going to take you to a chat, the service advisor and the technician between this specific vehicle. So again, it helps organize shop communication. They can chat specifically about this vehicle, and it's not with all the rest of the chatter in the shop, right, about who's ordering lunch and what time we're taking breaks. This icon here next to the customer name is going to take the service advisor directly to the text message with the customer. Again, this is great. You don't have to search for the customer name or type it into the phone or the shop phone. They can immediately call or email the customer straight from the repair order tile. I will also call out that with most of our shop management system integrations, shops are able to use one phone number for all their communication. So again, the shop phone number is the same inside of AutoVitals, so they're getting messages all from one place. This indicates the promise time. So again, this is great for meeting and exceeding customer expectations. Right now, this promise time is red because it has passed on this demo tile. But if the promise time hasn't passed, it'll be gray. So again, if you miss a promise time, it'll be red flashing at you. So you know, as the service advisor, you can go ahead and call that customer and give them an update about their vehicle. This also helps you prioritize the vehicles in your shop based on the promise time. So if you have a promise time that's earlier, you might want to get a technician working on that oil change first before a promise time that's later in the day. Next, we have inspection progress. Again, this is great because as technicians are performing the inspections, you want to know how far along they are with the inspection. This little bar here, as well as the status indication, will tell you the progress of the inspection. So it'll either be inspection not started, inspection in progress, inspection sent, or inspection viewed. Once the inspection has been viewed by the customer, so this means it's sent to their cell phone or email and they've opened it, we actually count the amount of seconds and time that the customer is researching and looking at the inspection. This is, again, a great indication for the service advisor about when they should call and when this customer is ready to make a buying decision. If you need to get the car off of the bay and you see that the customer hasn't even viewed their inspection, that's going to be a great indication that maybe you want to call that customer, or you can take the vehicle off the lift, get another vehicle in because you're a couple minutes at least away from approval. Second to last, we have job progress. So again, once the estimate has been approved and the technician is beginning to work on the vehicle, you will see the number of jobs that have been completed and the number of jobs that are left to be completed, right? So this is indicating that one job has been completed and there's 4 remaining jobs. This is great if a customer calls in and asks the status of their vehicle, because you can really easily give an estimation of the time left on that job and on that vehicle. This indicator too here, just to the right of the job completion before we move on, indicates the number of hours that have been completed and the number of hours left, right? So for this demo tile, if a customer called me and said, how much time is left on my 2003 Subaru? I would say we have about a half hour left of work. Why don't you plan on coming to pick up your vehicle in about now? Lastly, this is an optional feature, but I know a lot of our shops, particular ATI shops, love this, is the ability to add smart markers. Now, these can be anything that your shop can think of, right? So this one has a smart marker for the 30-point health inspection and probably an oil change here. But I know a lot of shops will add a smart marker for a difficult customer. So again, the service advisor, if that customer calls in or knows to make that vehicle a high priority, have smart markers for VIPs. If you use loaner vehicles, you can add a smart marker to indicate which loaner vehicle they have, anything of that nature. Again, it's just a really great optional feature, completely customizable, so you can see what's happening in your shop. All right, and then just with our remaining time, just wanted to go a quick reminder of our pricing. We won't spend too much time on this, but I know you guys get asked this as folks are considering different vendors. We have 4 packages that we primarily sell to shops. Digital Vehicle Inspections, DVIX, that's our base package. That's pretty much everything included in our digital vehicle inspections. SmartFlow has the workflow management, so those tiles that we just went over, it has the DVI plus the workflow management. SmartFlow X has everything included in SmartFlow, so the DVI, workflow, as well as our CRM that includes service reminders, thank you messages, review management, email and text campaigns. And then lastly, we offer a full package that's called our digital shop package. Again, that has everything included in SmartFlow X, plus a customizable website, as well as a dedicated customer marketing advisor. So this is great if a shop is really working on getting additional business into their shop. Not only will they have an SEO optimized website, but we also have a dedicated customer success advisor that's specifically for digital marketing assigned to them to help with their marketing efforts. If you have any questions or want to talk more about AutoVitals, I know we have a couple minutes here to review, but this is my direct line. I handle a lot with our ATI partnership, so feel free to give me a call or text. Again, you can always reach us. marketing@autovitals.com is the easiest way. And again, our website has tons of information as well.
There's a couple of questions in the chat, and then I'll close out with a note or two. So Rob Kelly, yep. Numbers can be transferred very easily. We do it. We transfer numbers from Bolton all day long, all week long. So it's actually very simple to do, and it's kind of set up the way you're set up today and the way we're set up. It's very simple. So we can easily walk you through that. And I guess I should say we can easily do that for you, so to speak. A lot of comments about edited pictures worth 1,000 words. Love the canned notes. Couple of quick comments I'll make. One is I want to highlight what Lauren mentioned, which is, one of the things. So I came to AutoVitals, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, and I think the thing that really attracted me to it, and one of the things that I thought was really important that we double down on and do a lot more of, is, AutoVitals is not a piece of software. It is not a piece of technology. I like to describe it, it's a solution, right? And the reason I say that is, I don't know how many other technology companies, certainly in our market, in our space, can say that you have a dedicated customer success advisor. So that person's job is to not only make sure you fully are set up, to make sure you really understand how to use the tools, to make sure you're able to send out marketing text messages on your own, or how to configure things or look at the reports. It's not just to do the training, but it's to make sure that you're getting the results that you want, right? That person should be spending time with you as an owner, or with your clients or your customers if you're a coach, going through and saying, hey, you know what? We're not seeing the kind of ARO lift that we think you should. Let's go through and find out why. Is it that, we don't have something configured the way we should? Or is it that no one is taking enough pictures? Or is it that Bob and Sue take tons of pictures, but Mary and Fred never edit them and they don't send enough of the jobs out, right? It's that level of detail. And then the same thing on the CRM and the marketing and the website side. So that's why we call it this dopey term, this shop success solution, because we wanted to put it like, it's for shops. All we care about is the success and getting results. And then it's a full solution, right? The last thing I will mention is, and the reason that ATI is such a fantastic partner for us is, if a shop is an ATI client, then they have put their hand up and said, I care about my success. I care about my business. I want to grow, right? Their goal, nobody's goal is like, oh, I want higher ARO, right? My goal is, I work really hard. I want to make more money, or I want to make more money and work less hard, or I want to hand the business down to the next generation, or I am the next generation. I want to open 5 more shops. I want to get over the $1.5 million, threshold. And, given that every shop who subscribes to and is part of ATI, that's a no-brainer that they should not only want the best point of sale, the best POS, but they should also want the best tools that's going to help them increase revenue and profits and make life easier and all that kind of stuff, right? That's why we love this partnership.
thank you, John. That was, I couldn't have said that better. Thank you. And Lauren, thank you always. I appreciate you guys. We love AutoVitals. You are our first pick for DVI, and we do definitely appreciate you, and from workflow. So
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for having us. It's always a blessing to present with ATI. Have a good rest of your day.
thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.